we're going to lift you up. And as soon as we lift you up, we're going to walk you to your car. We counted to 3 and we picked her up. When she got up, she realized that as much as the fall hurts, she felt better when she got up instead of laying down. And some of you had fallen in your life and you allowed people to see your fall, and people liked you better when you was laying down. Oh, come on up in here. But the minute you got on your feet, you realize that as hard as that felt, I feel so much better standing on my own 2 feet. So we walked over to the car. I'm just talking. We walked over to the car. We opened up the door and she sat down. And I said, young woman, are you okay? A big smile came over her face and said, young man, I'm doing just fine. She said, can I give you anything? Can I pay you something? I said, sugar, you ain't got to pay me nothing, because I know what it's like to be where you were. She looked at me and said, man, you too young to hit the ground and be hurting. I said, no, not a physical fall, but a spiritual fall. To make a complete fool out of yourself and have other people walk by and watch you and think that's your demise. But little do they realize that when you got up stronger than what you were when you first fell down. Listen, I need you to slap somebody a high five and say, there's a lesson in this. The danger is not in falling. The danger is in not getting up. When you fall down, God is waiting to see, do you have enough sense to realize that he's stronger in you, not when you're laying down, but when you can pick up your bed and start walking. Now I know this message ain't for everybody, because all of you ain't gonna admit the fact that even with your shouting self, even with your running self, even with your speaking in tongues self, you fail sometimes. And sometimes not only did you fall, you fell on purpose. Or y'all ain't talking here. It's one thing for an accident to happen, but it's another thing to plan your fall. But in spite of your mess, he looked beyond your faults and saw. Slap your neighbor high five and say, the fall was the best thing that could have ever happened to me. Oh, come on, some of y'all ain't talking. Talk to somebody and say, I know what he's talking about. I was shouting on Sunday and acting crazy Sunday night, constantly falling. But if it had not been for the Lord on my side, open your mouth and scream, I thank God for the fall. So we get to the text here. That was introduction. We get to the text here where we find Jesus. The Bible records that he is in Jerusalem by a sheep market, and there is a pool that is filled with impotent folk, a great multitude of impotent folk. Now the word impotent in the Greek comes from a Greek word astheneo, which simply means to be feeble or without strength. So at this pool there were a whole lot of feeble folks that had no strength, all hanging out together. A whole bunch of folk that can't help each other, just hanging out with each other. Listen, sugar, I know some of you have heard this before and it ain't in the Bible, but at the end of the day I can do bad all by myself, and there's no need for you to be around somebody that's just as miserable as you are, because misery loves company and misery can't help misery. So his first problem is that he was stuck in a pool around a whole bunch of folk that could not help him. And I came to tell some of you today, and now this is going to make some of you mad, but others of you are going to rejoice. God says get ready this year, because for some of you, he's going to change your atmosphere, because you got too many people around you that's all feeble and weak. If you say the wrong thing, they crying. You don't know how to approach them because they so touchy. You don't know whether to say good morning or cuss them out because you don't know how to deal with it. God said sick folk can't help sick folk. He said I'm going to put you around some people that can say straight up, man, I know I got some things going on, but I remember what the Bible said. Rejoice, and again I say rejoice. Listen, put your hand in your neighbor's hand and say, neighbor, our stupidity got us in it, but our praise is going to get us out. Good God, right now, find somebody else and say, I've been real stupid before in my past, but in spite of all of that, stupidity got me in it, but a praise is going to get me out. If you believe it, open your mouth as loud as you can and shabbat God like you know you're coming out. So the Bible says, good God, I can't hardly see none of you. The Bible said, so they were waiting there for an angel to trouble the water. And notice here in verse number 4, it said, for an angel went down a certain season into the pool. Now, I don't want to get you all upset today, but I want to challenge your thinking, because we use the word season so much that I think we don't understand the significance of the word, because walking in seasons is all right, but operating in your time is better. Let's deal with this. The Bible says that at a certain season that the angel would come and trouble the water.